Now, after the student completes the quiz, which is the stage 2, proving that they actually did their studying, they will go into stage 3. Now, stage 3 is where the class actually begins. It's what the class is supposed to be all about, stage 3, 4, and 5. And this is when you actually start using the material that you've learned. And that's what the whole idea of the concept of the flipped classroom is, that you spend most of the class with deeper exploration and practice of the material. So on stage 3, we do what's called deeper exploration. Now, there's 2 different things you do there. First is peer teaching, and basically, once you pass the quiz, I will give the class a little bit of time so that students can pair up or work in small groups where they can review the topic and help clarify misconceptions or muddiest points they may have, and also explore the topic together further. They can teach each other, they talk to each other about what they've learned. And in this scenario, they act as teachers and learners and engage in the material further to facilitate, the classroom progress. So basically, you're trying to talk to someone who's your group mate or your someone you like to study with to actually review what you've learned. And at this point, students are also encouraged to continue this discussion online if they want to when they get home. If they really get off on what they were talking about, they can continue doing that discussion online. Now, then sometimes I will also do what's called a teacher-guided critical thinking student-centered discussion. I know it's a lot of words there, but what I'm thinking here is that I will guide a critical thinking-based discussion. Remember that in stage 1, I provided you guys with texts, with reinforcement activities, with virtual labs, tutorials, videos, podcasts. That means in class, I would rarely ever just straight up teach you. The content is online. You don't need me to just repeat what I said in the video already. This discussion instead is focused on the hardest concepts and also on discussing the topic, all right, in a way where the students are the ones which are presenting the explanation, and we're exploring connections between this topic and other topics. We're talking about how the key terms tie in together, how it ties in with other chapters, as well as talking about those evaluations or explorations or application to things that we talked about in the online discussion. So it's more of an exploration of the topic than just basically like, this is what this is. It's not where you teach the topic, it's where you talk about it, and so people who neglected to really memorize the key terms and understand the topic and explore the material on level 1 and try to cheat their way to level 2 or accidentally pass it will be completely lost at this point, so that's why it's really encouraged to do things right. And you also encourage to take good notes when we're having this discussion, because sometimes the toughest test questions when you get to the unit test are based on the discussions that we do in this part of the mastery system. And in any given class period, especially when I start doing the type of mastery system where I break the groups apart and people are allowed to go at different speeds, then I might actually do this 1 or 2 times per class depending on how many topics are being covered that day for that thing. So priority will be given, though, for people who are at the current pace, and then I will start moving backwards to people who are behind in doing discussions for topics which haven't been cleared yet. And I will try to record these discussions so that you can watch them online later if you want to. It's called online streaming, and if you are at home and you missed the day that we had a discussion, you can also watch it live even if you are from home, because we have the live streaming through the Moodle site as well, all right? And of course, students are encouraged to use online resources and homework assignments to catch up on understanding the concepts if this discussion was not enough. And they have opportunities to gain mastery points and participation levels at this point for all the collaboration that they do. Now, every time they say something that's cool, I will give them points for that, and it will count for collaborative classroom points as well. And I also meet with students to discuss, misconceptions and misunderstandings that might be about the topic. I usually always go into that, especially when you go into evolution. There's a lot of things that people think about it that are incorrect, and so we usually address those kinds of things. We also talks about the important points and address critical thinking aspects of the topic. We usually do this in a very Socratic method questioning system, where basically instead of giving them the answers, I'll ask them questions which will guide them to the answer, and we'll have kind of like a debate discussion style level thing. And this usually doesn't take very long. And we'll do this in like 20 minutes of the class or so tops. And then I really try to hit all the levels of thinking in this discussion here, because I try to ask them, factual stuff. I try to ask them application stuff. And so this is what happens in a discussion. And to really know what this is, you got to be a part of it. Remember that I stream this online as much as I can. All right. Now, if a student, if when we do the method of the mastery system where kids go at different paces, sometimes there's a case where there's too few students which are ready for a discussion in order for me to actually hold the discussion for that topic. So what I will do instead is that I will wait for enough students to have gotten that far so that I will do the discussion for the topic. So in other words, I will let the students move on from and skip stage 3 until enough students reach that point, and then we'll go back and we'll do that. And that's kind of how we do that. And of course you gain points for being part of this as well. All right. So that's deeper exploration, and that's the only kind of lecture thing that's going to be a part of the mastery system, because lectures are supposed to be done at home to the flipped classroom.